I ask no favor for my sex. All I ask of our brethren is that they take their feet off our necks.
And that little girl was me.
You know, this my little thing. Okay. If you should ask for custody if the child is in danger and she's not fit to be a mother, right? And you have direct proof to verify that. Do not use a child as a pawn.
What the impacts of slavery, of what racism, what capitalism has done to Black people. So for him to have this opportunity to really give a moment to say, you are correct, we must figure out a way to understand Black people today. Instead, he laughed at him and made it a novelty and said, you really drank the Kool-Aid. So
Yeah. This is also about men trying to control the sexual desires and activities of their daughters because they want them to grow up to be a certain kind of woman. They want them to be domestic, they want them to be docile, they want them to be subservient, and they want them to be submissive, right? And so that is not, when you get a woman, that a wild woman rising, you don't know what to do with her because she is not living out your narrative and you're not able to control her.
Well, let's be clear. I always tell people we have to be real mindful of the Hispanic culture because Hispanics come from different places. Two demographics of Hispanics that vote Republican. Pretty sure the Hispanic coalition in Florida that he's meeting with is predominantly Cuban and Venezuelan because those.
Can I buy a vinyl?
You know, can I buy a?
So well versed and so phenomenal. Whether you work on a register or you're in the C-suite, you have a skill set that's so needed that someone is willing to rent your time. They are leasing your time. Figure out your promise first, not your product. What is your promise?
And so when we're talking about facing challenges of people at high risk and targeted groups and minority population, it's trauma. So you got to think about what this person brings to the table. We're not always going to get it right. One thing that we as society don't want to appreciate anymore is apologizing. I apologize. I'm sorry. And so those words, I'm sorry, are so powerful. And so individuals don't expect everybody to get it right. But when you apologize and you're really listening to try to be better, then you do better.
Safely, when it's all said and done, the police is going to protect the state. And that is why the slaughter of Black bodies and Black people at the hands of the police is such an epidemic because they are trained and they commit to a training of policing.
So my book is about my struggle, but how I overcame it. And to let Black women know, and just women of all colors. And I'm not going to just say that it's just for Black women, but Black women, we need this. It's okay to say, I'm not okay. It's okay to go get help. If you can't have a child, that means your vagina is no better or no worse than the next person. Okay?
Hey, how are you, everyone? I'm Dr. Matthews, the accountability specialist. We have Wendell King, the communication specialist, and we have Dean Snell, the political specialist. We are here on this Hot Topic Tuesday, and we had early voting that went on today. And baby, when I say our people showed up, they showed out. Baby, we trying to get Trump up out of here. Okay, and with these local elections, what's going on, my good people?
What's going on? It's a day. I voted yesterday. Actually, early voting for Georgia started yesterday, or in person, and the lines were completely long. It was. I was happy to actually see it in, especially in those black districts here in Georgia, but we did have some hiccups with the voting machines at one of the big Staples Center, well, not Staples Center, but the I think it's the Georgia Convention Center. They had 54 machines and only 8 worked in Atlanta yesterday. Yeah, and it's predominantly black, is in Fulton County, so people were waiting 4 to 5 hours just to vote. But people stayed in line and voted. But, Republicans will always send the bad stuff to our districts, and the people that probably don't really know what they're doing. I think a lot of times that's a problem issue too. Not just the machines, but sometimes people that don't know what they're doing.
They just trying to disappoint us to discourage us to even want to vote. Well, baby, not this time, because according to this president then charged everybody to come out to vote. Right. And it's to the point where, the Republicans are so scared right now. They don't know what to do. Like they just filed a lawsuit just today against drive-through voting,
which is a hot mess. I don't see a reason why you would be mad that people want to drive-through vote. It's like, I'm in my car, you see my ID, I sign my signature, and then I vote. Like, what is the problem? Like, what's the really
problem is all of us coming out. That's the problem.
That's why this needs to be the last election we have issues like this. The last
one. Well, I'm excited because in Harris County we've made national news, right? Because our governor Hot Wheels has done everything possible to stop us from voting. He went from telling us we were going to only have one drop box for the entire city and county of 4.3 million people, and then they beat it in a court, but then they took it to a higher court, and the higher court judge overturned it and gave him the right. And so guess what happened? We broke our own record today and had over 190,000 in-person early votes in Harris County today.
Let's not forget that judge that overturned it was a judge that was appointed by Donald Trump. That's why we be telling y'all these elections matter, because when stuff like that.
And the one who approved it was Barack Obama that was on our side. He was appointed by Barack Obama, but then the Trump Federal Circuit overturned it. But you're totally right. Like, it's a cat and mouse game.
But that's why elections matter. And when people be like, why am I voting? If you vote, you wouldn't have this situation. We all know that Harris County is the fourth largest. Houston is the fourth. Harris County is the fourth largest city, county in the state, next to Chicago, New York, and what is it? LA. And
Houston is the fourth largest city, and Harris County is the sixth largest county.
I thought it was the third largest.
So almost.
Well, they said we're moving into third largest, but we're not third yet.
So, and that's the issue, because I'm like, with it being the third largest city, why would you only have one drop box in the whole dang city? I lived in Houston. Well, I lived in Spring, and that's a huge city. So that means that everybody got to go to that one drop box, and traffic in Houston is not the best.
Nobody's business. Nobody's business. Well, it's a little better because the kids at home virtually learning. So it's a little better.
Kids to the voting poll, honey. Because baby, I know I brought my little one, And then I brought family members today, and baby, I got folks coming tomorrow. Baby, we voting like our life depended on it, honey.
Well, I want to give a shout out to the Texas Southern University. Definitely is one of your voting hotspots in the city of Houston, 3100 Cleburne Road. You can vote in Garage West, and that is the one near what's the street with a Blodgett? What's the street with the B? Blodgett. And they had marched to the polls where TSU Ocean of Soul band led 1,000 or more students and faculty and staff to the poll to go vote together on the opening day, and it was a beautiful scene. It was a beautiful scene.
They got videos. Send that to me so I can see that.
Yeah. Yes, I got to see the video. It's beautiful. That's how I found out, actually. But it's
it's wonderful to see. And I tell people, let's keep this up. Let's get Trump out, and then let's get these crazy governors like Abbott, like Brian, like Kemp in Florida, because these are three stooges. I always tell people they're three stooges: dumb, and dumber. And they're doing. If you notice, everything in their power to stop people from voting. It's the same three states. Florida, Georgia. And I'm like, the only thing you do is you rile up people more to want to vote.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how I feel. You rile us up.
You know, I don't know how it was in Atlanta, but in Houston, and where I voted, which is downtown at the Annex Courthouse and one of the Annex buildings, it was like a Democratic rally. Like, it was a beautiful thing. At 6:45 this morning, everyone was crunk, excited. We had police officers in line. We had firemen in line. And the most beautiful part were all of the police officers that were screaming Joe Biden's name. Oh,
very good.
Wow.
I wasn't. I voted yesterday, but I vote in DeKalb County. I voted in Brookhaven. So I only saw on the news about the what was going on in Atlanta. And I'm from the people that I saw in the videos on the news, it was mostly Black people. And I can honestly say, even in my precinct, where it's like multicultural over here, but all of the people that were working the polls were African American women, and that made me smile. But the problem that I have is that why is it our Black women that's always leading the way? Where are the Black men?
Mm-hmm.
That's always my issue. Like, where are we? And I see so many of us always arguing about, we don't get enough props from the Democratic Party, or the Democratic Party don't cater to us enough. I'm like, but when it's time to speak, who speak?
It's so disturbing, Dean, because I'm trying. I promised myself that I wasn't beating up on Black men until after November the 3rd, because I've done enough. And I don't want to be the reason that they don't take their sorry Black to go vote. But it's amazing to me that for the past 30 years, Black men have been okay with the Democratic Party when Black women's only job was to work at polls, go out and get each other to vote, sell tea cakes to raise money for the Black men to campaign, run for city council, run for mayor, run for senate, run for state reps. But as soon as Black women are actually being given a spotlight, Black men want to start talking about they're not worried about them. No, brother, you should have been excited that Black women are now being given a stage to perform on. They couldn't be your damn curtain lady forever. Like, this is ridiculous.
That's how I see it. It's like you're you're upset that you're seeing Black women rise to power, but these Black women are coming, and they're coming with the issues. So while you had this power for the last 30, 40 years, and we kind of was like in a stagnant position, these Black women that's coming forward, they're coming forward with progressive policies for the community. It's
for
not
everyone.
Not just for the betterment of Black men or these Black people or people with this much money. It's like we got to start from the bottom, and once we bring the bottom up, everybody in the community will do better.
I mean, Black women were good enough to prop all of us Black men up for decades. So we can at least hold their hand as they walk into the sun. Like, this is really a problem. And it shows a lot about how easily intimidated they are because of their lackluster records is what the problem is. They are now ashamed at the idea that black women were already running the household and now they're running the country. Get used to it. Don't be jealous. Don't be envious. Get like them.
Yeah.
Get like them.
Used to it.
It also seems to be a problem too that they see so many LGBTQ African American men and women moving into the spotlight too. But it's like we have to realize this country isn't just black and white. It isn't just straight. People are going to move into the spotlight because they want their voices to be heard.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm like when black men wanted our voices to be heard, we got out and we
the Million Man March.
Yeah, but now it was the Million Man March. It wasn't the million people of color march or the million black people march. It was the Million Man March. That's why we should change that march that they had this time. Or they could have like coined it something else because it was more than just black men that was marching. It was black women out there as well and leading the way.
But I have to go on that side with that. I think it should stay the way it is because just like with the women's march and what they're doing now, you have men that were there also, but the purpose was for women. The purpose was to strengthen women. So I don't think anything is wrong with still having platforms that are to engage and to strengthen and to inspire black men and have other races and women there also. But I do think that there is a problem when we get in this place. Like I just told someone yesterday, I stand up to piss just like you stand up to piss, just like that. And I'm raw just like that. Whatever you want to say, I got something to say. And if you want to get that mad that you want to move your hands, I promise you my hands move real fast. So it's going to be just like that because we have to stop. LGBTQ, black women are all human beings. It is time out for us we have to stop playing this protocol within our own community. We have to stop this pecking order within our own community. We have to stop having these oppressed wars within our own community. I don't give a damn who you are, what's between your legs, or how you walk. If you are fighting for the greater good, if you are seeking utilitarianism, then I am with you. I'm all about the greatest good for the greatest number of people. And I don't care who that person is that leads the way. If it is a woman, so be it.
Well, let me ask you this, Wendell. Well, what about this woman that came into this hair salon? You know, is the customer always right is the question. Can you go to beautiful being footage and we can get back on it?
I'm the boss here, Robin.
I'm not paying her, I'm paying you.
Nope, but I pay her, so she does what I say. And
come on, Sharon.
You'll be fine. You want to leave?
I will if you don't do my hair.
You have your color on and you want to talk to me like that?
Yeah.
Robin!
Sure.
Robin, she's my assistant. She's
not hair. I want you to do my hair. I'm
Robin,
not going to tell you again.
Robin, don't talk to me that way.
I can't.
You can go. No, you're not going to talk to me that way.
Oh my God.
Robin, you can go.
Like this?
Robin, you're not going to talk to me disrespectfully.
Well, then you don't either. I'm paying to have you do my hair.
Right.
I want you to do it.
Right. And just relax. Take a breath.
I will.
Take a breath. Robin, you can't talk to people like that and think that people are just gonna do whatever you say.
I came to get my hair.
I know, and I am running a full-blown business, and I'm training someone, and wait, really, honestly, Robin, if you don't want to hear me out and get to the resolution of this, you can leave with half your color on. Are you gonna fucking hit me? Robin, get the fuck out. Robin, get out, and do not cause a scene in my business. You just almost went to hit me, and you know what? It's on camera. Robin, you didn't? Oh, get out. Here, let me get this one.
Oh my God.
Ew, Robin, that was fucking disgusting. You just made me waste product.
Oh my God, you're gonna let me go out.
You want to disrespect me? Look how you just spoke to me and she just saw that. Robin, I'm just having.
I apologize. I'm having a lot of stress in my life.
Robin, that was a lot, Robin.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Robin.
Please.
No, Robin.
Please.
Robin, that was come on, Robin. I need you to go. We're gonna have to reschedule. I'm sorry. That took you at me shaking. I've never had someone do that to me.
I can't So if I
But you should think about that before you are disrespectful. That was like wild, Robin. Like I've never had that.
Okay, fine.
No, Robin, let's just deal with this later. Like, I just need you to go. Like, that was super disrespectful. Like, I can't even believe you talked to me like that. Like, I really took care of you when no one in the other salon wanted to do your hair. I wanted to do your hair.
Okay. First of all,
my God.
we're going to get started with this because number one, what you not gonna do, okay, is one, you're not going to come to my establishment talking noise. That's one thing you're not going to do. Number two, you're not going to buck at me and don't think you're not going to get slapped. That is a problem.
She didn't buck at her, baby. She was like...
That young lady handled it very well because I'm saying right now, that would not have been me. That lady would have been drugged. Because first time I would have hit you with every last one of them. And I probably would have turned around and filed charges on your behind because you come
Oh my God. Oh my God. That was a lie.
Clearly, you had some mental illness going on too because you over here talking about you had a lot going on, baby. First of all, if you had a lot going on, you should stay at your house.
That is true. That is true.
Don't come here with your bag is trying to unpack something because you about to get hit.
But
that just did it for me. Like that young lady handled that better than I would. I'm sorry. She did.
I wanted to hear your thoughts because I saw it. Well, I saw in the beginning from her perspective, like, I came here for you to do my hair. I've seen people like, I don't want anybody to touch my hair. I want you to touch my hair. That's it. But it was the moment that she got real, because I understand that part. Like, I don't need anybody playing in my head. If I'm paying you, yes, this is the person that you're training, but do that with somebody else. Or you should have told me this before I got here. That way I could have said, no, thank you.
Okay.
But it was the moment when she got irate and was like, I don't want her to touch my hair. And then she went and did like this. I think I probably would have gave her a special.
No. See, my thing is this right here. As a woman, right? First of all, I'm not going to let nobody do my hair unless it's the only person who does my hair.
Correct.
That's number one. Okay, if my stylist cannot do my hair, guess what? I'm going to wait until you're able to do my hair so I can avoid situations like that. Right. Number two is that you're not going to just go in there talking trash to somebody and then you're going to turn around and buck at them. See, if that would have been at the salon where I got my hair done at, she would have got drugged by everybody in there.
Well, that kind of leads to what I was going to say. First off, I stay out of white folk business. So I mean, they could have tore it up as far as I was concerned. I love when they show us who they really are, so that people can stop acting like we're the only ones that act a goddamn fool. And then so that was one thing to unpack there. Let white folk be white folk. FBI said that they are the number one murderers of white people are white people. We love to say black people kill black people, but the FBI said white people kill white people too.
And
yeah. But the other part of that to unpack is how that Hispanic lady didn't flinch. She stayed right there and they were fighting over her. And that reminds me of a lot of Latinx, how they love to fight with us on social media, but they will never really join into the fight when it gets physical or when it gets criminal. And so that was a great reminder of that, because a sister would have been going upside her head because you're talking about me like I'm not sitting right here.
That's my problem.
Notice what I said.
But I do agree with everybody. But I still agree with Dean though, because I would have told, if I was Karen, I would have told that hoe up. I would have left, but I would have tore it up, because the reason I shaved my hair during the pandemic is because my barber, he stopped cutting hair. And so he was referring us to someone else, and I did not want that other person to cut my hair. Not that I've ever heard anything bad about that person. I'm just very particular. I'm just right. But she was already sitting in that chair, and she was laughing and talking, and then she just sprung it on her. And so I know I'm very particular about my haircuts because I'm a man of a particular age now. And so I know how my corners have to be babied. And my barber know exactly what to do to make me look like what I need to look like. And so I felt like she put her in a bad position. And but she still didn't have the right to jump at her. Like I would have whooped her. But if you notice, she did come back and say, she came back and said, you can just reschedule. So that washed the whole fight away from me. Because if you were that mad, you would have been telling her never to come back to your place. But she said, you can reschedule. So that was a problem for me. So
I think she realized.
I think she realized that the young lady, that lady had some mental illness going on. And I think she saw the crazy with her. And I think she kind of felt a little bit sorry for her when she started apologizing and saying that she's been through a whole lot and all this here kind of stuff. Say, baby, we ain't trying to hear none of this shit. Look, let me be straight up with y'all. I'm even funny about when I go get my braces done. First of all, when I go get my stuff tight, don't be putting these little, I don't pay for your little students to come and mess with my teeth. Okay? So again, no.
But that's why I said, and I think that's why she rescheduled it. Was like, you can reschedule, because I think she realized, like, yeah, I did spring, because that's even unprofessional to me to spring that up on me while I'm in the chair and you don't already put this product in my head. So I feel like that part she handled so wrong, because you should have told me this before you put all this stuff around my neck and you start putting this part, because that's like me going in my barber chair and my barber starts cutting my hair and then all of a sudden he's like, I'm gonna let this dude. I'm gonna be like, but
that was unfair.
The way how she was applying that color was kind of lackluster whack too. Because
so I think we can all agree that you gotta let white folk handle their own business.
Well, that lady was going to
but no, that white girl was getting ready to whoop her. That white girl was getting ready to whoop her. She just said, "Nah, I need this color though."
She wasn't about to do nothing.
Well, but while we're talking about white folk drama, we have some more. We have some footage of this signage wars that I actually saw, and it really caught me way off guard. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll unpack it.
So I put up my Biden-Harris sign last week, and my conservative neighbors have been losing their mind. So let me give you a peek at what they decided to do. So here is my sign, and then they decided to go full on crazy and go right up to the line. So clearly they don't know who they picked a sign war with. It's on. Part 2 coming up.
Yes.
I so love her.
The petty.
I am that type of petty person.
That's me.
I am that person.
That's me all day.
Yes.
I can be petty too.
I'm real petty like that because I'm in a Republican neighborhood. I have a pink and green Biden Harris sign sits on the corner when you first rolling through the gate, coming through my neighborhood, right there with all these Democratic people signs. I have that right when you coming in my neighborhood. I'm that person.
I love it.
I can't wait to see what else she posts. I know she coming with something else later on.
But no, that same music is what got me.
That's
when she put that rocket out, she said, first of all, what got me with her was like, oh, they must have know who they came with the sign wars with. Oh, it's on.
But she was so petty. Like, I think, first of all, I think Tuesday nights is more of a petty party than Truth to Power anyway, so I think we're all petty. But what I love, though, is with the Ruth Bader, and then she had the write-up, like, reading the snot out of Donald Trump. Like, she said, I'm going to go beyond their names. I'm going to give you a background story.
The last Republican president won't even endorse him.
Right.
That was the
Isn't
shade.
that something? He
The
endorsed
last
Biden.
won't even endorse him because he's like, oh, yeah.
You have a Tea Party gone wild that have gone to the Democratic side. They're spending millions of dollars on commercials to stop you, your own party. But on a more serious side, because I'm glad that we're seeing a lot of this white on white unfold and Karen's coming out and Ken's. But I didn't want us to show this because I knew we would get flagged. But did y'all see what happened in Vegas, where the black guy got into a dispute with one white guy? And so 3 of the white guy's friends, they all thought they were going to jump on the black guy. And the black guy's telling them, leave me alone. He has his hand in his bag. And he said, leave me alone. And he's backing away. And they're like, no, just fight us. Just fight us. And it's like 4 of them and 1 of him. And he said, man, just leave me alone. He's backing up. People are recording and saying, leave him alone. Leave him alone. One of the guys run up. So all of them run up on the black guy. Next thing you know, pop, 1 gunshot, white boy down. And everybody in the crowd was screaming, he told y'all to leave him alone.
So he did a pop go to Weezer.
And you know what? Self-defense.
Stand your ground. Nevada has stand your ground laws.
Right. When you run up on me and and everybody's recording me telling you.
Everyone.
So at that point, it's 4 of y'all, 1 of me.
Yeah, even when y'all ran up him, he tried to run, and y'all ran, and 1 caught him. So he turned around and just 1 shot. He was at least he was better than police officers. He just shot 1 time. He didn't give him 7, 8 bullets. He gave a pop. And they, why did you shoot him?
why are you chasing me? What do you think? And that's why they think that we're like, that's why I be like, you think that we're really scared of y'all, scared of you guys, and we're really not. This is, I'm like even the older generation that fought y'all back in the days, they even like, we go pop you. We getting heavily Second Amendment friendly over on this side. So I wish they would stop, like, you know, and that's why I'm saying a lot of them, they think that we're just gonna like lay down and just let them do what they want to do to us, and that's not the case. Like, I'm gonna try to back up as much as possible, but when you back me into the corner, it's gonna be pop, pop, pop. And
you get mad when you get touched.
Right.
But then, hey, did y'all see that other thing though? They had the Ku Klux Klan put a business card in somebody's mailbox and took their Biden sign and told them this time was a social visit. Next time it'll be a business.
Yeah, I saw that.
So did they call the police?
I didn't get the rest of that part of that story, but I know one thing. I'm gonna tell you what kind of story I'm gonna have. You put a KKK thing up in my mailbox, you gonna get a Glock in your ass. How about that?
I agree with that.
She's playing, y'all. She's playing.
What?
Just in case, baby. We gotta stay covered by the blood, baby. Just in case. Covered by the blood.
I ain't playing. I got a whole. Yeah, I ain't
She got her right mind right there, y'all.
Yeah.
You got these folks
put it in my mailbox and see.
When you got these trying to kidnap governors, I'm like, at this point, I'm like, how you try to kidnap the most important person in your state? That's a lot. That's a lot. And then that's not the only person that they were trying to get. They was about to go.
They tried to get the governor of Virginia, Republican governor.
I'm like, how? And I'm like, you got to think about that. I'm like, and these are 2 of the highest officials in the state. Imagine what they will do to local officials who don't have as much power as these governors and bodyguards.
Yeah.
But this is not the first time that this has happened. When white folks get crazy, they kidnap people. We've seen it happen throughout history where they kidnapped and done. And I wrote a whole paper on white supremacy and how they pretty much killed many of the African American political figures or political people back in the 1800s when you know, which stopped a lot of us from voting, running for office for a long time. So all we're doing is seeing it in modern time.
And not only were they trying to planning to kidnap her and the governor of Virginia, which is a Republican governor, but they also were going to put them on trial and execute them. So this was a full drawn out plan, and the two men, I had words with this guy on my page today. He's a fellow TSU Tiger, so I'm not gonna just attack him here. I attacked him there though, but he was. I pointed out that these are white supremacists that Donald Trump called good people. The two white men that they actually the FBI got were two white men that they had on screen that showed up at the governor's mansion in May with guns. And Donald Trump said, these are good people. She should sit down and have a conversation with them. So this is what white supremacy looks like. This is what white nationalism looks like when it is not safeguarded. When you have the president of the United States not denouncing it and being afraid to say they are wrong, but instead calling them good people, but calling looters and rioters over social injustices gang members and thugs, but you want to hide them under the word militia. They're not militia, militia participants.
Well,
these are national terrorists.
But see what he's doing too, and then he over here making a whole OG call during a presidential debate, telling these people to stand down. And then let's just look at it locally. One of our commissioners had these people in front of his house with guns. Commissioner Rodney Ellis.
But that's why
really?
They were out in front of his house on Saturday.
That's why I say, imagine what they will do to local officials who don't have as much money, power to hire bodyguards like that. I mean, it's crazy because
he's running unopposed anyway, Wendell.
White supremacy is yes.
I'm just like this here.
It's like that.
Let me ask y'all this then. So what was your opinion with Ice Cube? Because Ice Cube kind of ruffled some feathers with him. What was your opinion on it?
Well, he more than ruffled my feathers. Here's the thing. I have less of a problem with Ice Cube than I did with Puff Daddy. I'll say that. I have less of a problem with him. I just think his timing is reckless. He created his contract that he feels the Democrats need to uphold everything on the contract before Black people vote them in office. I have two issues with it. Number one, who the hell are you to speak on behalf of us? Who elected you as president of Black people? But the number two thing is, why are we so always ready to hold the Democratic Party accountable for everything, as though a person that is in office, be it president, senator, or representative, are not representing all of America? Bipartisanship is once you cross the line, you are fighting for all of Americans. We have it so bad ignoring the Republican Party because we don't vote for them, but that's not the way it goes, because they're still handling us. And so when I tweeted something out, and it pretty much just told him he was reckless, to shut up, and to remind him that he hasn't been poor to middle class since 1988. So to chill, because you are completely disconnected from real Black America. And he retweeted it, and he responded with him pretty much saying that he's all for Kamala Harris. He put a picture of he and Kamala Harris, and he's all for Joe Biden. He's not saying that he doesn't want us to vote for them. He just wants us to hold them accountable. My issue with him is it shows how unintelligent he is when it comes to government. Because first off, we need to get them in office. We can't hold them accountable before they're in office. Everyone doesn't have the same emotional intelligence. So when you say that's what I mean, you have to say what you mean, because your followers are people who will follow somebody like you. So these are probably these are lackluster Negroes that will follow you.
Do we have a picture of that tweet?
No, Good Luck was trying to find it. I was at the ER. You know where I was. So I'm sorry, I couldn't. I was busy today.
I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, but he did a red table conversation with Jada Pinkett Smith and her mom. This is a common knowledge thing. His contract, which is a good contract. I want to say that I don't disagree with. I agree with like 95% of it. One of the things that stood out to me was he feels like education should be equally divided. If a state has $1 billion for education, it should be divided equally for all school districts versus zip coding. And I agree with all of that. I completely agree with it. The issue I have is timing. That's the only issue I have is timing, because we have to teach people. We all have to take the responsibility to learn how to educate people on how we have to hold our city councils to the fire, hold mayors to the fire, hold governors to the fire, get these chairmen of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, get independents and hold their asses to the fire, because they're going to be asking you for your vote also. And then work your way up the ladder. We can't send Joe Biden or Donald Trump an email and say, I'm mad at you. But we can send Sheila Jackson Lee one saying, I'm mad at you. Right. So you have to know how to go through that protocol. But we are, for whatever reason, every 4 years, we get in this place where we feel like we can actually tell the president how we feel personally. No, baby. There's a protocol.
First of all, he's 9 times out of 10, he's not going to get your letter. It's always good to go for the people that's closest to you, which are your elected officials, because they are your local officials, because they're the ones who make the biggest decisions for you. Everybody wants to jump up at the presidency, but I'm like, you don't hold your mayor and city councilmen accountable for the things that they do within your city.
Correct.
Because I'm like, look at what we have going on right now, where the governors of these states are and the secretary of states are, stifling the vote. These are people that are elected by your state that's in close proximity. And what you need to be doing is you need to be talking to your city councilmen and your mayors and letting them know, I don't appreciate what the governor is doing right now. It's disgusting. Like the fact, like we just was talking about earlier with the voting polls and how these lines are long because a lot of the machines are down. That's something that you need to be talking to your secretary of state, and if you have it, your elections officials in your county, because they're the ones that disperse the machines. And if the machines aren't working, that's why we say, it's nice to have these celebrities talk, but sometimes they need to back up and people who know what they're doing. Handle this. Give those people platforms instead of you trying to get your business out there and talk, and you don't know what you're talking about. Because like you say, Ice Cube, you don't know civics. The fact that you're jumping up to the president, what is that doing? And right now, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris don't have power, other than Kamala Harris is in the Senate trying to stop, Supreme Court justice. Joe Biden is just a citizen that's running for president. And he tells you that all the time. I don't have the power. All I can do is say stuff, but I don't have any power to make change now. Once you vote me in, then I have power.
Yeah, I can just engage you with ideas. I can just engage you with ideas right now.
That's like Ice Cube, you telling people what's in your contract don't have no power because you gotta hell, if you want to, you should go run for office in California. Well, my thing is, why don't you donate like what they just done with this Democrats breaking fundraising rep?
Come on, Doc.
But again,
come on, Doc.
Where's your money?
That's it.
And I want you to look at what LeBron James did. LeBron James is putting his money where his mouth is. LeBron James is paying for people to get to the polls within 15 miles or is a certain amount of money that gets you to the polls with a free ride. He's putting money into these cities, into these major cities, not just Ohio, but all these major cities. Celebrities like that kind of just shut their mouth and let their money talking. They give it to these people, to these organizations. That's what you need to do, Ice Cube.
If you truly care about generational wealth and understanding how to fill the generational wealth gap, then you put your money where your mouth is. LeBron didn't just start with the voting, right? We know that he started off with donating scholarship in these boys for colleges. Then he said, "Oh, I'm going to create a school for these black boys to create the way." Beyonce, after Katrina, she didn't do like Kanye West and go on TV talking noise. What she did was she came to Houston secretly and she bought 2 communities and put houses there for these victims of Katrina. Oprah Winfrey, the same thing. She went to Uganda and pretty much bought a whole damn city for these people and put 5 clinics there. You put your money where your mouth is, but instead, you have people like Ice Cube that want to keep their wallets shut, but use their platform to make noise. That is incorrect, my brother. If you really care, put your money where your mouth is. Stop waiting on someone else to do what you can do yourself.
Right. Where's the Elijah?
Because what you can do, Ice Cube as well, and I hope they get this to him. What you can do is look at progressive candidates for the next election. Put your money towards them and try to get them elected instead of because the stuff that you want.
Yeah, hit your boy up, baby. I need it, baby. Hit me up, baby.
Right, the stuff that you want to happen is only going to happen when you elect people that have your same mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm with your contract, Ice Cube. Ice Cube, I'm talking to you, brother. I'm with you. I like your contract. Hit me up. Cash App, Venmo, Zelle.
No, you can put. I literally just put something up today on my page, and a lot of people was like, "I like all of these ideas," but I'm like, "These are the ideas that I think will help everybody. It'll bring everybody out of poverty and out of this whole this stifling system." Because I'm like, it don't matter if you're as long as you have a progressive policies are important. That's why I be telling people it's not enough just to be Democrat anymore. You have to have progressive policies that's going to help everybody out. If you're a Democrat, you running for office and you running and you're not talking about justice reform after we just seen what was going on for the last couple of months, that's a problem for me.
I think Joe Biden, but that's why I think Joe Biden is really onto something. And I've been saying this because I wasn't a fan of Joe Biden because I wanted Kamala Harris. Everybody knows me that I was dogging him out. I was dragging him through the mud. And then in December, when Kamala decided to suspend, it took me 24 hours to jump on board. But one thing I can say about Joe Biden is that he has made the purple state a new party. And I think that is something that should be applauded because this man has now, off of the back of Donald Trump's mistakes, he has literally learned how to speak to America rather than Democrats or Republicans or independents. So he has changed the narrative.
Well, then let me ask this then. Well, then what about the hypocrisy of Fox News then?
There's nothing. Here's the thing about Fox News. There's nothing you can do about that, right? That's a beast. The Fox system is a beast. It's a machine that was created intentionally to speak to. Right. It's there to talk to the average white person that is sick and tired of being sick and tired of everybody stroking the egos of Black and brown people. I'm just going to be honest. And so as long as there are people that feel that way, Fox News will have their audience. And Fox News has the largest audience because they are the only one in their genre. Whereas we have MSNBC, C-SPAN, CNN. Yeah, so we have all of these different broadcast networks that don't want to be just Democrats. They don't want to own it. They do it, but they don't want to own it. So they say we're for everybody.
Yeah, but also you got to look at the market too. Like you said, their market. A lot of their market is these old white people that live in Middle America or in the South. When like Wendell said, a lot CNN. On our end, the progressive end, you have CNN, MSNBC, and both of them. Then you have us young people. We don't always go to those news outlets. We go to other.
But you know what? But we got some video right quick though. Let's take a look at this and then we can unpack it real quick.
The only real mistake Kamala Harris made tonight was over-smirking, over-smiling.
She was just not prepared for it. You could see it in the facial expressions, in the attitude that she took.
I'm speaking, she barked again and again when Mike Pence tried to respond to her.
You interrupted me,
September 30th,
Are you going to
you
apologize, Jeff? No.
From an elderly woman.
Let me talk. Quiet.
She could do a little more than make these awkward smiles and just shake her head.
I don't think she did a good job of making herself likable, and the scowls and the funny faces were not that helpful.
Those smirks and nods and eye rolls and
those facial expressions and the way she behaved were really off-putting.
Well, not even the plexiglass could contain that strong side eye that Kamala Harris was giving the vice president.
Smug, smirking. It's not something Americans or regular people like.
What people took away from it was a bit abrasive, a bit condescending.
Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word. There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
Clearly, she blatantly lied over and over again.
Take a look at West Virginia, mailmen selling the ballots. They're being sold. They're being dumped in rivers. They want to take out the cows, too.
Her rambling, her disorganized answers, at times were even hard to watch.
Are you saying that what you said on that bus 11 years ago, that you did not actually kiss women without consent?
Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
So for the record, you're saying you never did that?
Things that, frankly, you hear these things, I said.
I'm just gonna be honest. Again, this is a black woman. We all know what Fox News caters to. Fox News caters to the white people who don't see. First of all, they don't see African Americans. African Americans should not be on a national stage talking to a white man like that. Better yet, a woman. So their whole thing right now is to trash Kamala Harris, and all of the whole time they're talking about her facial expressions and the things she did. I'm thinking to myself, like, Donald Trump has so many memes right now from the funny facial expressions that he makes, the condescendingness that even the last debate that we just had, he was condescending to Joe Biden, and they even showed it in the video. I'm kind of glad that as they were talking, they were showing like
the same stuff that he does.
He does. It's just
it's called deflection.
Yeah, Fox News has had hypocrisy since Obama. Well, since prior to Obama, but we see the hypocrisy every day in Fox News. And when they talk about the stuff that President Obama did, and then Donald Trump does the same stuff, and they praise him. Like when the first thing that they talked about was, President Barack Obama signed all these executive orders, and it's unconstitutional and it's disgusting, and he shouldn't have that much power. But again, when Donald Trump does it, it's fine, because again, African Americans should not, or African American man should not be signing these executive orders telling white folks what they should and shouldn't do.
Yeah,
that's how.
But don't forget that Fox News is also notorious for disrespecting their own white women. Like, people forget the lawsuit that went on there. The movie Bombshell, if you haven't watched it, it's a great movie. But it talks about all of the white women that were being sexually harassed by the owner of Fox, by the president of Fox. And they came together and they put a huge lawsuit on him. And that's how a lot of the white women left Fox. And there is an ongoing case right now with Hannity and what's the other crazy boy name?
You talk about Hannity and I can't think of the other guy.
Tucker Carlson on sexual harassment right now. So if they are treating white women like shit, we can't expect them to treat black women any better, because they think black women are the bottom of the barrel. So these are men that are a part of patriarchy. Like, these are men that understand what patriarchy really is supposed to be, and they actually support it. So Kamala Harris is a sassy black gal to them. And who likes a sassy black gal? You see, we just got to talking about our heterosexual black men. They can't handle sassy black gals. So you think they're gonna treat them better?
And all I'm saying, if they think she's sassy black woman, well, they wouldn't have been ready for me.
But the thing is, they don't feel like a black woman should have even been on the stage with Michael Pitts in the first place. You have no right. You shouldn't even be up here. This is a white man. This white man, again, the patriarchy of white America, Fox News, white men are up here, and the fact that you have a black woman on this stage telling a black man to wait your turn, or I'm talking. Mm-hmm. That's the problem that they had. I'm talking. Don't.
It was too much. Yeah, it was too much. How dare you? That's what it was. How dare you?
You tell this white man to stop talking while you're talking.
He's the vice president of the United States. But while we're talking about this and talking about women, not just black women, but all women that are strong and being treated unkindly during these days, we have a little footage of our favorite sister, Nancy Pelosi, which is third in command right now. I want everybody to understand that if Donald Trump, anything happens to him within the next 100 days, and anything happens to Mike Pence with his weak ass, then Sister Nancy will take over as the president of the United States. So let's look at this, and then we're going to unpack it. Oh, there's no volume.
No volume for it.
Y'all hear it?
No, I
don't. Well, maybe not. Well, let's talk about what happened. This was actually tonight. We had a little technical difficulties because it was kind of last minute, because this just happened real time about an hour ago. But what happened was Wolf. Oh, wait a minute. I think we have it.
We have it.
As you know, there are Americans who are being evicted from their homes. They can't pay the rent. Many Americans are waiting in food lines for the first time in their lives. Can you look them in the eye, Madam Speaker, and explain why you don't want to accept the president's latest stimulus offer?
Well, because thank you very much, Wolf, and I hope you'll ask the same question of the Republicans about why they don't really want to meet the needs of the American people. But let me say to those people, because all of my colleagues, we represent these people. I have for over 30 years represented my constituents. I know what their needs are. I listen to them, and their needs are not addressed in the president's proposal. So when you say to me, why don't you accept theirs? Why don't they accept ours? Our legislation is there to do three things primarily: to honor our workers, honor our heroes, our healthcare workers, our police and fire first responders, our teachers, our transportation, sanitation, food workers, the people who make our lives work. We couldn't be doing what we're doing without them. Many of them have risked their lives so that to save lives, and now they will lose their jobs because Mitch McConnell says let the states go bankrupt.
Excuse me for
let the
interrupting,
states go bankrupt.
Madam Speaker, but they really need the money right now, and even members of
I
your own,
understand that,
but even members of your own caucus, even members of your own caucus, Madam Speaker, want to accept this deal. $1.8 trillion. Congressman Ro Khanna, for example. Well, let me just quote Ro Khanna, a man you know well. I assume you admire him. He's a Democrat. And he just said this. He said, people in need can't wait until February. $1.8 trillion is significant and more than twice the Obama stimulus. Make a deal, put the ball in McConnell court. So what do you say to Ro Khanna?
What I say to you is, I don't know why you're always an apologist. And many of your colleagues apologize for the Republican position. Ro Khanna, that's nice. That isn't what we're going to do. And nobody's waiting till February. I want this very much now because people need help now. But it's no use giving them a false thing just because the president wants to put a check with his name on it in the mail, that we should not be doing all we can to help people pay the rent, put food on the table, to enhance benefits, that they don't lose their jobs if they're state and local, we're talking about the consequences of a pandemic, that the symptoms of a problem that the president refuses to address.
But you
and Republicans, and whether they want to give a big tax cut to the wealthiest people in the country in their bill, in the CARES Act. We tried to take it out in this bill. Instead, they took out earned income tax credit, child tax credit, expanded health benefits to UI benefits to the extent that it was agreed to before.
All right.
So this is, I have every confidence.
Glad she finally said what she said to Wolf about being an apologist, and why do we keep having to yield our power to the Republican Senate when they don't have any ideas? We've sent Nancy Pelosi's U.S. House of Representatives sent a bill back in May. We're in October. What's this guy? Mitch Turtle McConnell waits until the last minute. He waits until after people are off of the assistance that they need for from this pandemic to finally try to make something happen. So I'm glad she pushed back on Wolf, because he does do that. Him and the Chuck guy from the Chuck guy on MSNBC, they do the same exact thing. They're such apologists, and I'm so glad she's like standing her ground. Like, this is what we need. The American people needs this. And she should have mentioned, and I wish she would have mentioned, right now, the Senate has a bill on their desk that's been there since May. But right now, what they're focused on is filling the Supreme Court justice seat instead of helping the American people. This should show you that they have no interest in your lives. Because literally right now, we're in Atlanta, where I'm in Georgia right now, where so many people are about to lose their homes because they've canceled that whole coronavirus relief thing where the banks can't take your home or evict you. So come December, a lot of these people after December they're going to be out of their houses because they haven't had relief. They're working jobs that don't pay as much as their previous job does. If you look at education, a lot of teachers are on furlough. I think I lost like $100. Even though I have my job, we lost $100 per check either use $100 per check or we start cutting jobs. We had to do stuff. Right. You have people that's in the online industry right now that's furloughed, or we talked about this last week, that lost their job. And you're sitting here asking Nancy Pelosi, why isn't she yielding to Mitch McConnell, a man that has had a bill in his office on his desk for 5 months, and he hasn't even crossed the aisle to talk to Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi is working with what's his name? Mnuchin? Is it Mnuchin or
it's Mnuchin? It's Mnuchin and Meadows. Mnuchin and Meadows.
He's working with them. Mitch McConnell is nowhere in sight. Donald Trump is nowhere in sight.
But Dr. Matthews, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is that Mitch McConnell should burn in hell.
Thank you, boys to men. Well, I agree. Well, I agree with both of them. I think Mitch McConnell should burn in hell, and I agree with every single alphabet and the choices that you gave them in your soliloquy, Brother Dean, because I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think that we as Black people, I've been screaming this for the last decade, that we have to stop apologizing. That's why I was over Michelle Obama with that when they go low, we go high shit. When they go low, you go lower because they're going to cut your knees off and you're going to fall low anyway. So you got to get with them. You do not go to a gunfight with a butter knife, period. And so I think she is correct. In May, the House of Representatives passed a $3.2 trillion bill. They went down a whole $1 trillion to $2.2 trillion. And then the Republicans came back wanting 1.2. And then Donald Trump forced them to go up to 1.8 because he wanted to include his new FBI building in Washington. And she said, hell no, because it did not give any funding to states. It gave no funding to PPE as far as hazardous pay for our essential workers, our real essential workers. I'm not talking about flight attendants. I'm talking about medical doctors, medical staff, custodians, cooks, cashiers at the hospital, people who are literally endangering themselves and not in luxury. So she wasn't fighting for just any old thing. And so people are saying, well, why don't you just take anything? Baby, you can never be on my team when it's time to fight. If you're going to always throw out the red flag, the white flag, and say, we give up. No, she said we went down $1 trillion. We shaved off so much and y'all are still playing. But yet when Ruth Bader dies, you stop everything. And you go into emergency hearings to get a new SCOTUS because you want a Republican SCOTUS. You want to tamper with the balance of the Supreme Court so bad that you said, who cares about heroes? Let's do this. So I agree with her. The same gumption that you had to go and fight for this for Barrett to bring her pale-faced ass on the Supreme Court is the same fight you should have for the American people that are dying. Because then you are right. When that act went out, the evictions, people were able to evict people. The utilities were able to turn off your utilities. You were not covered under any of that anymore, and they did not care.
Right.
And so she did Wolf right, because Wolf, get them under. We were just talking about how CNN, C-SPAN, and MSNBC, they try and straddle the fence because they don't want to look like they're just a Democrat. But she was right. Why don't you pose these questions to the people who ignored our bill since May? And that's who you should be posing this to.
Well, I got a question to pose.
With his old ass.
Why Trump's stinking ass pulled out from this presidential debate?
Well, girl, we already know why. Because he needs an audience. He needs an audience to feed off of, and he needs one line. His one-liners can't stick if it's through a Zoom.
Right.
Because he's not a debater. Number one, he's not a debater. How dare they want him to actually speak with substance without being somebody butting in? Or how dare he want to be in a position? How dare they want to turn his mic off so that somebody can actually get a word in? How dare they be civilized? We're in a third world country as far as he's concerned. We're somewhere in Kuwait hiding from bombs.
Right. Oh, shit.
But can we give Harrison in South Carolina a shout out? He has broken a record, which is Texas Beto's record of raising more money than any state campaign has ever done. He's at 54 million. He outdid fundraising with Beto by 20 million. So not only did he set a record, but he set a huge record. And then he's been holding them to the fire. And then yesterday, I don't know if y'all caught any of the debate with Mitch McConnell and I forgot her name, that's running for senator in Kentucky, but she wore him completely out, and he couldn't do anything but chuckle because she used his words and she said, "What have you done for the Kentucky people?" I'm not asking what you've done for the president. What have you done for Kentucky?
That's literally,
and he couldn't say nothing.
That's literally what every one of those Democrats need to be asking some of these high ranking Republicans like Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell. It's like you have done nothing for the state. Everything you do is for power for you and the Republican Party. But as a whole, South Carolina has the same situation. Ted Cruz always got his peanut head ass out in the front talking about the Constitution this, the Constitution that, and nothing gets done.
Oh wait, we have a little footage. Oh, it's Amy McGrath. I'm sorry.
Amy McGrath.
Look at that old thing now.
She's from a Marine.
No, but I'm talking about that old
the turtle.
You know, when he couldn't even speak. Let's look at it.
Do
Just
that.
look at him, yeah.
Negotiate, Senator. It is a national crisis. Yeah. You knew that the coronavirus wasn't going to end at the end of July. We knew this. I mean, I just think you've got to. And here's the thing: if you want to call yourself a leader,
so Bill,
if you want to call yourself a leader, you got to get things done. And those of us that served in the Marines, we don't just point fingers at the other side. We get the job done. The House passed a bill in May.
Like,
look at. I wish you would have let that ride because that's definitely. The House passed a bill in May, and you've let it sit on your desk for what is it? 5 months or 5 months?
May, June, July, August, September, October. 5 months, about to be 6.
About 6 months, and the American people are struggling. And that's what I want to say about the last thing. The fact that they were like, just give in to them. You're telling them to give in on the American people because that bill that Nancy Pelosi passed was for the American people, for people that were struggling.
They're showing that you don't give a damn about the American people. You give a damn about your own.
The reason why the Republicans cut so much stuff, all of that stuff that they cut was for the American people. The only thing they cared about was giving money to corporations, more money to the FBI, to the military. Nothing for the American people as a whole. The American people are struggling. And that's why I'm looking at people like y'all sitting here talking about y'all not voting or voting doesn't matter. Right now, you people are struggling out here, and people still haven't gotten help because the people on the other side don't see value in you. They see more value in the corporations that give them money than you. Also, about the Lindsey, I think we're talking about Lindsey Graham.
We're talking about both of them. Go.
Okay. And then we're talking about how Harrison has gotten all this money. Lindsey Graham today in the little Supreme Court hearing was like, we want to know where all this money is coming from now, all of this dark money, because Harrison is blowing him out the water with money, and it's not coming from corporations. It's coming from America. Every time I see a Harrison commercial or advertisement, I see people on there like, I'm donating just so you can get Lindsey Graham out. People don't like you, Lindsey Graham. People don't like you, Mitch McConnell. Yeah. People want you guys out because you guys hold up 50. You guys hold so much power, but you don't. Republicans make up what? 60% of they hold 60. Well, they make up what 30-40% of the American population in the Senate.
Yeah,
but they make decisions for the entire country. But they own the population that they make up is less than what they're doing. So that's why people are upset. Like, you hold up so much progress for people.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, my thing is, first of all, I'll be glad when this election campaign season is over because I'm going broke. Yeah. I've been donating money left and right. I just donated money today to MJ Haggard just today. Like we have because I want Cornyn out. Like we have to start being the change that we want to see. So that's why you see Harrison busting it out, because these are people that don't live in South Carolina donating money. Amy is getting money from people who don't live in Kentucky, but they want them out because they understand. This is why I have so much beef with the puff daddies of the world, with the people that are anti-Democrat. They are so anti-Democrat as though Democrats are doing something, but the reality is Democrats have the Republican heel on their neck. They're not able to do anything as long as they are sitting in these positions of power. So we have to get control of this, and we're not going to get it by saying what the Democrats are not doing, because we're too ignorant to take a look and figure out what can the Democrats actually do during this time. So we have to get out and vote, guys. Vote city council, vote for those judges, municipal judges, vote.
You know what? You're absolutely right. But hold on real quick, Dean. We got another video.
we got another video.
Oh yeah,
we got to video this up, baby.
We got another. Hold up.
I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna go free. I'm gonna freeze.
What happened to Mr. Floyd was wrong, and people should pay a price. But what's happening in America and in all over the country is a war on the police itself. Do I believe our cops are systemically racist? No. Do I believe that South Carolina is a racist state? No. And let me tell you why. To young people out there of color, to young immigrants, this is a great state. The one thing I can say without any doubt, you can be an African American and go to the Senate. You just have to share the values of our state. And I'm asking to every African American out there, look at my record. I've been supporting historically black colleges and universities, and I'm glad President Trump has made it a permanent fixture now. We don't have to beg every year for the money. I care about everybody. If you're a young African American, an immigrant, you can go anywhere in this state. You just need to be conservative, not liberal.
And why did we even show that?
I'm like,
that last part just threw me. So you need to tell me.
Yeah, why do we even give him a platform with that? Like, okay.
I can't stand it.
I can't walk around South. First of all, South Carolina just got rid of the dang Confederate flag off the top of their capital in Charleston. What, 2 years? What, this year? Like, I really It's certain
disdain.
I hate seeing Mitch McConnell.
I loathe Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell, but I loathe Lindsey Graham more because Lindsey Graham used to be good, and people forget that Lindsey Graham used to be good. He flipped once Donald Trump won, because he was also in the trenches in 2016 saying that Donald Trump was a psychopath, Donald Trump was a womanizer. He was saying he was speaking these things, and then he just flipped. So I have zero respect. I loathe Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, Tim Scott. I loathe them. I loathe all of the white heifers in the Senate, those Republican senators. I loathe them because they are sitting around watching the building burn down, and they do not care about the children on the top floor. I loathe them. We have to stop giving them platforms. I'm serious.
It's only because they realize that the majority of the country does not agree with your policies, and the sooner the majority of the country starts getting out to do what they need to do, you're going to be out.
How ignorant was it for him to say you can go anywhere you want to do anything you want to do as long as you're conservative and not a liberal? How ignorant was that? That was the most telling part. It was just, this is the most ignorant Tim Scott foolishness I've ever seen in my life. Like, we really have to get up.
As long as you agree with me, I'm fine with it. But the moment that you stop agreeing with me, and that's why I said that's how they see some of the African Americans and Hispanics that in the party. As long as you agree,
he made that very clear and evident in his speech. And he's a piece of shit, and he needs to burn. Hey, we cut, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, that's what it is.
Uncut, raw.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And we're talking about STDs.
Yeah, You know what? I cannot. Y'all, we can wrap this up because we'll be here all night. I got some questions tonight.
Besides these Republican governors, I think a lot of these Senate Republicans have really shown us who they are. These
and a lot of the Republican governors too.
Yeah, Republican governors are really showing us who they are with the policies that or the things that they're trying to do during this election season. Like I think this, and again, it goes back to, and that's why I say the Supreme Court is important. That's why I say your local officials are important, because right now this is the second election that we've had without the Voter Rights Act in full play. So that's why we see so much voter suppression going on, and that's why. The elections matter.
We have to vote like our lives depend on it, because it does. And I do want to fact check one thing that Lindsey Graham, funky self, said when he talked about the money that Donald Trump put back into HBCUs that y'all boy Barack Obama took away. Because he only put it back he didn't put it back because he cared about HBCUs. He put it back just so he could use it for 4 years to say that he did something, that he righted a wrong that Barack Obama did. But away from that, he also said it. No, he didn't put it all back. No, he did not. But I don't want to get on that. But no, Barack did not. But what I am pointing out though is that because of the way he gave the money to the HBCUs and he tried to make it concrete, it is now showing that it is stopping HBCUs from tapping into other endowments, which means it's going to hurt. We're going to lose even more money than what he put back into HBCUs because of the way he's doing it and the way the legislation is written. That's why it is so important to have the right people in office. It is so important because you don't make deals with the devil. You don't make deals with Rumpelstiltskin. You have to know that it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. The grass is always green on the other side. Everything that shines is not gold. Any cliche you want to come up with is going to fit for Donald Trump, because you are playing with Satan himself. So we have to stop. We just really have to start teaching voter education, and voter education has to start with educating them on who's running. Voter education isn't just educating people on why we should vote, but actually educating them on who you're voting for and why you're voting for them. Make them attractable. Let's stop saying, make them attractive. Let's stop saying that, where they don't have enthusiasm. You become the enthusiasm for them. You educate them on the good things that they may not be aware of because they're not getting it on Charlemagne the God, or they're not getting it on TMZ, or they're not getting it on whatever new show is on Black Entertainment Television, or they're not getting it on social media platforms of these reckless celebrities. So you have to be that person to create the enthusiasm. I know we got to go, but I just had to say that we have to stop doing this every 4-year thing. We have to do this every year. Every year, somebody's seat is up, baby. We're voting every year. I vote every single year. Somebody's seat is up.
Even if we're not voting, we're voting for amendments. You guys have to realize that there's voting going on every year. And the reason why things pass without our knowledge is because we don't pay attention to those elections that happen of the presidential election.
And then you are so right about those amendments. That's like those when you really get into this waste management, what we forgot about, which is the post office,
another show,
the postal services. Like all of that, we forgot all about postal services and how this is becoming the fool. We have to pay attention. I'm sorry, Dr. Matthews.
No, it's okay. We just gotta, we gotta.
Give us our quote and send us out.
I got a little quote for tonight, and it's very simple. I don't want Black History Month. Black history is American history. Morgan Freeman.
Okay, gotta read that again. It was chopped and screwed, baby.
I agree with that.
Okay, I don't want Black History Month. Black history is American history. Morgan Freeman.
I agree.
I agree with that.
Black history should be the history of African Americans should be enthralled within education year round. We shouldn't limit our history to a month.
Yeah,
Okay,
but-
now you about to get us a whole nother conversation.
because all I was gonna say is because of slavery, we need our own month, baby.
No,
we celebrate us
in our own month.
We celebrate ourselves. We celebrate ourselves daily, but don't we go up our birthday? We celebrate ourselves all year, but we go up our birthday.
Share, guys. Share this.
Share.
Share. We love y'all, but we got
subscribe.
I'm good, guys.
See you at the petty party next week.
Bye, guys.
I ask no favor for my sex. All I ask of our brethren is that they take their feet off our necks.
And that little girl was me.